Yo, Alex, I got a lot of dads asking, hey, I want to give my son some advice as a hitter, but we can't afford hitting lessons. What do you tell that dad?
Yeah, I think I got 5 good things for you, right? I think number 1 is you got to stay positive, right? You got to understand that at baseball, especially at the young age, is going to be a failure sport, right? He's going to do things well, he's going to make some mistakes, but understanding your support and your positivity is going to feed more into him than any mechanical fixes he can do. So that's number 1. Number 2, this is going to be your simplest form here. So for you, I just want your son to be in a good athletic hinged position. The best way we like to tell our youth hitters, I want you to pretend like this white line here is the Grand Canyon. If he was going to look over the Grand Canyon, he would take his chest a little bit over his toes, his hips would go back, and he would be in a nice, strong athletic position, right? If he goes back into his heels, he's gonna fall, and if he goes into his toes, he's gonna go right into the Grand Canyon. So that's number 2, be athletic and be in a good, solid hinged position. Number 3 is going to be from that athletic position, working on a proper positive load, right? So when we talk about a positive load, a lot of guys think it's just take my hip back to go forward. A lot of things we see, or a lot of times we see with young guys, is the hip goes back and then immediately right back forward. I want you to basically feel like there's a PVC pipe going from your shoulder through your hip. We're gonna use these 2 baseballs as a visual, and when they load, I want them to feel like their shoulder and their hip works in between these 2 baseballs. That doesn't mean they gotta get crazy and get off balance or hold this position, but when they get into their load, they gotta feel like both things, both shoulder and hip, pass through that finish line and work back forward. Now taking all of that energy in that load and transferring it into our front side here. So best way I like to explain for my young hitters, right? Pretend like on a game show, there is a red buzzer right under your front foot. The second that your front foot hits, that is what is going to release all of your energy from this back hip. I see a lot of guys that once you go forward, they hit that buzzer and nothing ever transfers or rotates, right? So whether it's physically putting something down there for them to step on, make sure it doesn't slide, make sure they don't roll their ankles or anything, but make sure when they hit that front side, they should feel like everything turns on and it starts to rotate, right? We're trying to be as quick and as explosive as we can from that back hip the second our front foot touches the ground. And then number 5, if you do all of those 4 correct, the first 4 correct, we load, we're athletic, we're in a good hinge position, and we stop our front side, everything else should work from there. So what it should look like if we do this correctly, it's gonna be athletic into a load. The second my front foot hits, it's going to rotate, and my extension in my direction should allow me to get as far out there in a good positive space that we can. So again, number 1, be positive. Dads, be positive. Number 2, make sure we're athletic and hinged. Number 3, make sure our load gets back with our head and our hip in a straight line. Number 4 is explode into your front side. Number 5 is going to be let the intent of your swing create your power, create the barrel, create everything that you worked for. Keep it simple, keep it easy, but hopefully those 5 tips help.